Good morning. It is Tuesday, the 18th of August. It's about 6:17 a.m. I have been slacking on a few of my videos. You'll find out from my other channel, but essentially my in-laws were in town as of Friday night and sleeping in the room right next to this room in which I record, and I did not want to wake them up at 5 in the morning with my voice. So I forewent doing any financial update videos and other videos until yesterday. I started recording them again. But let's check out some financial news. Bitcoin passes $12,000. Dollar worries grow. Omisego jumps and Portnoy's orchid pump. Let's read. Price point. Bitcoin was flat after jumping on Monday to a new 2020 high above 12,400. Analysts are now speculating whether the largest cryptocurrency can hold the higher ground. It can. The latest move came up on high volume, and it was a convincing break. Denis Vinokurovs, head of research for the crypto prime broker Bequant, told CoinDesk. Monday's high was just 11% off the 2019 peak of 13,880. Elsewhere, prices for the recently and strangely launched Curve DAO token slid 26% on Monday, even as total value locked into the affiliated Curve Finance protocol rose above the $1 billion mark. That's a five-fold increase over the past week in the latest episode of this year's Frenzy in Decentralized Finance, or DeFi. Market moves. Suddenly it's not just Bitcoiners who think the dollar is going down. No shit. If you guys ever heard of Lynette Zhang, I would highly recommend following Lynette Zhang and her ITM trading angle. She is big on precious metals, not so much crypto, and she's also saying the dollar is going down. As the news broke in recent days that Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway had bought shares in a gold miner, commentators immediately began to wonder if the billionaire investor might be bidding against the U.S. economy or the dollar. And even Warren Buffett thinks so, guys. Bitcoin analysts and investors wonder why it took him so long. Giving the trillions of dollars of money pumped into the financial system this year by the Federal Reserve to help fund the ballooning U.S. national debt. The money printer working overtime is obviously causing Buffett and his board grave concern, Matty Greenspan of the foreign exchange and cryptocurrency research Quantum Economics wrote Monday. While Buffett is perhaps not so sure how to react to a world that no longer values bonds and government debt, others are sure. There's a growing sense among members of the cryptocurrency community that their long-standing assessment of the traditional financial system as unsustainable is finally gaining traction among Wall Street experts and mainstream investors. If the concerns spread, it might buoy prices for Bitcoin, which many digital asset investors view as inflation hedge similar to gold. 100%. So do I. Goldman Sachs, which in May this year panned Bitcoin as not a suitable investment, hired a new head of digital assets earlier this month and acknowledged rising interest in cryptocurrencies from institutional clients. The firm warned in July that the US dollar was at risk of losing its status as the world's reserve currency. Oh, yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. So, not only are we printing the crap out of it, but probably going to end up losing a naval battle against China in the near future. That'll be the end of the US dollar. Dick Bove, a 5-decade Wall Street analyst who now works for the brokerage firm Odeon, wrote last week in a report that the U.S. dollar-ruled financial system could come to an end amid challenges from a possible multi-currency system, which includes digital currencies. The case for Bitcoin as an inflationary hedge and sound investment is being articulated with crystal clarity by influential people outside of our crypto bubble. The digital asset analysis firm Messari wrote last week. Buffett didn't return a call for comment. Dollar dominance on the wane? Yes. Whether or not Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are the answer, there's little on the horizon that might turn investors away from gnawing sense that U.S. finances are becoming more precarious. Goldman Sachs economists predicted in an August 14th report that the Fed will pump $800 billion more into financial markets by the end of this year, followed by another $1.3 trillion in 2021. According to Bank of America, there's a risk that investors might shift their portfolio allocation out of the U.S. dollar assets to position for the erosion of the hegemony of the dollar as a reserve currency. A constitutional crisis is one dynamic that could potentially accelerate the process of de-dollarization, they wrote, noting that November's presidential election might be fiercely divisive and contested. Yes, it is going to be. It is going to be the first election in my lifetime where they're not going to have the results the night of or the day after. Like every other presidential election, we know who won within 8 to 12 to 24 hours of the election. This year, we're going to have quote ballots pouring in last minute, last week, last month, 2 months later, 3 months later. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. It's going to put our country in the most closest point to civil war we've ever been in since 1860. Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare. According to the bank, a recent survey of fixed income managers showed that nearly half of respondents expect foreign central banks to decrease their reserve holdings of dollars and dollar-denominated assets over the next year. It may not sound outlandish to Bitcoin bulls. No, it doesn't at all. Let's see. Okay, nice, yes, price breakout. Yeah, we know about Bitcoin going up in price. Omise Go is up. Ethereum Classic is facing a delisting. Ouch. Orchid Protocol takes off even though it's not a DeFi token. I never even heard of it. Dave Portnoy said that he's invested in OXT. I'm now in on the shitcoin OXT, Portnoy wrote on Twitter with the hashtag of pump. That's actually pretty funny. He's really getting into crypto now. Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for this article. Let's talk about some stocks, tech stocks. Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, and Facebook rated top buy this week by AI. Look, I'm going to be fully honest. I think stocks are probably one of the riskiest things you can do right now besides just holding cash. And I did buy some Apple and I did buy some Tesla. And if I sold it right now, I'd be making a few $1,000s. But I'm not selling. They're going to split this stock. I think each one is going to split 5 ways by the end of this month. So I'm going to have 5 times more stock, 5 times less amount of money. Well, that's not to say. The price will be 5 times less, but I'll still have the same amount of money. And I may buy more when the price is lower, because I know a lot of other people will. Okay, but let's see what they say. The markets continue to rally this week with the S&P 500 inching towards its all-time high. Discussions on the coronavirus stimulus package were on hold as the final rollout is expected to be postponed till September at the earliest. At least it looks that way for now. There were several executive orders passed by Trump this week that cater to unemployment relief, temporal tax deferral, and concessions on student loans. On the other side of the coin, Russia produced its first batch of COVID-19 vaccine. It was a positive development in the path to a vaccine. Whether the Sputnik 5 vaccine is safe, we will have to wait and see. Oh, it's so funny. If it's a Russian vaccine, it might not be safe. But when Dr. Fauci's friend Bill Gates creates a vaccine, we should all be forced to take it because it's going to be so trustworthy. Looking at the economic data, retail sales climbed for 3 consecutive months, but the growth was below expectations, indicating a slower recovery as COVID cases were on the upswing in the U.S. There was also good news from the employment data on unemployment claims fell below 1 million for the first time since late March. Treasury yields rose this week, and so did the price of crude oil. Our deep learning algorithms using artificial intelligence technology have rated some trending stocks this week. Microsoft, Netflix, Facebook, and Apple. There were 4 top buy rated stocks this week in Microsoft Corp. Now, I can't believe they're not talking about Tesla. Tesla is like, I guess maybe it's overvalued, but it is pumping way hard right now. In fact, the markets are probably going to be open in a second. We could take a look. There were 4 top buy rated stocks this week in Microsoft being added to our top buys this week. All of these companies have posted strong quarterly results despite an economic slowdown observed due to the pandemic. Our AI system has identified factor scores of D in technical, C in growth, A in momentum volatility, A in quality for value, D in technical, A in... Oh my god. Okay, you can read that. The shares are up 30.78%, 46.35%, 23.86%, and 54.09 respectively for the year. All of these firms have witnessed significant changes in their revenue when compared to the figure 3 years ago. These firms also generate sufficient returns to their shareholders as reflected in the ROE figures. ROE in the last figure for these firms stood at 40.4% 40.14%, 29.12%, 19.96%, and 55.92% respectively. Another positive characteristic of these firms is that the revenue projections are optimistic, with expected growth in the next 12 months being 8.64%, 11.15%, and 8.39% for Netflix, Facebook, and Apple. Okay. Yeah, that's why Tesla's not on there, because they have like a four pattern rating system. Intel Corp, Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia is doing really well as well. On the attractive list this week is Intel Corp and Nvidia Corp, two recognized names in the semiconductor space that have gone in very different directions this year. Our AI systems have given scores of... Okay, I'm not reading that. Super annoying. Read that yourself. The stock performance has been mixed, with Intel down by 18.24% for the year, while Nvidia is up by 93.01% this year. Revenue for Intel grew by 9.71% in the last fiscal year and 25.8% over the last 3 fiscal years, while that of Nvidia grew by 7.8% in the last fiscal year, by 21.25% over the last 3 fiscal years. 21.25. EPS has grown by 173.53% for Intel over the last 3 years, from $1.99 to $4.71 in the last fiscal year, with ROE increasing from 14.2% 3 years ago to 27.68% in the last year. Okay, you guys can read those figures, but Nvidia and Intel are doing well. So apparently Wells Fargo has been rated as unattractive. No shit. Boeing also unattractive. No shit. With the fact that they had made a plane that crashed, the 737 MAX, like hella scary, right? Like pilots can't control it. All of a sudden the plane is like climbing like a cliff and then sky and nose diving and back and forth, like super scary, and crashes. Yep, that was bad. And then nobody's flying now, so they're just not looking good. But I don't usually do stock news. Be very, 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 very wary of jumping into the stock market right now. If you're going to, I would do the tech stocks, but I would not do other things. In somewhat political blockchain-related news, the USPS just filed a patent for a blockchain-based secure voting system. There's no way it's coming in time, but it looks like the USPS is getting in the business of voting. It has recently been unearthed that the USPS filed a patent on February 7th, 2020 for a secure voting system that uses a blockchain access layer. Obviously, this could be one of the strongest signals of a welcome adoption to the blockchain by the U.S. government, since blockchain was thrust on the map by Bitcoin. Quote, a voting system can use the security of blockchain and the mail to provide a reliable voting system, the patent application says. A registered voter receives a computer-readable code in the mail and confirms identity and confirms correct ballot information in an election. The system separates voter identification and votes to ensure vote anonymity, and stores vote on a distributed ledger in a blockchain. Of course, the people on the left will say, that's racist, because certain people can't have access to a computer, so how can they possibly vote? You're taking away their votes. That's what they would say. The United States Postal Service is listed as an applicant on the application. Voters generally wish to be able to vote for elected officials or on other issues in a manner that is convenient and secure, the application says. Further, those holding elections wish to be able to ensure that election results have not been tampered with and that the results actually correspond to the votes that were cast. In some embodiments, a blockchain allows the tracking of the various types of necessary data in a way that is secure and allows others to easily confirm that data has not been altered. Equally as interesting as the patent itself is the fact that the application was filed before the coronavirus had wreaked total havoc on the country and long before the idea of mail-in voting was being tossed around by pundits and the mainstream media on the daily. Okay. Nothing about whether that or not this is actually happening. I would not hold your breath, but it'd be much better to have a system like this than the current crap show that we have coming up where, the election's basically going to be stolen. And we're never going to know who the real president is. It's going to be crazy. All right. I know gold's doing well. Let's just do a little quick refresh. We're back up above 2,000 once again. Big up for gold yesterday. Silver about to hit $30. Folks, I still recommend, if you can, to grab some silver eagles or collectible coins of either gold and silver off some website. Yes, you will pay a premium, but it is an insurance policy against something much worse that could be coming. So, yes, I am recommending that. Look, a silver coin is going to cost you $32 right now. Okay? It's worth it. Get like $100 worth if you can. Let's do a refresh on crypto prices. Crypto's looking good. As I have been saying, this could be a very good year. We are still above 12,200 for Bitcoin. Ethereum is close to $430. XRP was at about 31 or 32 cents. It has dropped down to 30 cents. Not bad. Chainlink, nice slump. Back down to $16. But this coin is literally, if it doesn't stop, it's gonna become the number 3 coin. Like, it's definitely gonna surpass Bitcoin Cash. And it did, actually. I think it was the number 5 coin yesterday and the day before. I fully expect it to come back above Bitcoin Cash, and then it'll take over Tether and Ethereum next, or XRP. It is what it is. It's an Oracle-based platform. I still don't know anything about it. I still know people don't like it, but it is what it is. Tezos still holding nicely, just under $4. VeChain has slipped back to the number 22 spot, but at almost 2 cents, I still think it's a good buy. A lot of people don't like it. I do. I have a friend who loves Digibyte, says it's going to be huge. It's right there if you want to go grab that. That's going to be the news for today. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back tomorrow with another update. Stay safe out there. Hedge your bets against the coming economic crisis, and have a great day.